Hello and good day, Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We're here because we're on a mission to inspire other people to get outside and enjoy outdoor adventures such as we have as a family. Today's guest is a very busy woman. She is an adventurer, author, mother, certified orca canoe instructor, hiker, business owner, wife, guide, certified in wilderness and remote first aid, and TV personality. Welcome, Tori Baird. Yay!
Yay. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
thanks for coming out and having a yak with us.
So we wanted, I don't know what you want to talk about, but we want to talk about Paddle Like a Girl.
Okay, awesome.
We're diving right into it. I was going to try to do some lead up.
I'm going right in.
What is Paddle Like a Girl? I know, but for the audience.
Okay,
what's
sure.
Like
Sorry. So Paddle Like a Girl. Well, I started it in 2020. The idea was to just kind of create a space for women to get out on the water and just kind of this non-judgmental space where you can kind of feel vulnerable learning a new skill. Because just from my experience being out canoeing, I rarely saw like women who looked like me out there, but I learned everything I know from my husband. And so it's kind of nice to have a space where it's all women and we can kind of learn from each other. We can try new things and just not feel like super intimidated. And also just inspire more women to get out on the water. You can just being in nature is so healing that, I feel like more women need to do that. So I just kind of wanted to introduce more women to the sport of paddling.
That's awesome. Yay. I am 100% behind everything you just said. That's awesome. How does it work? Do you guys do like day clinics, weekend clinics? Do you do sort of like go out and do a 3-day or a week-long trip once like is it a progressive thing? I have so many questions.
Yeah, no. So we have a few options right now. They initially started off as like, I just call them overnight workshops. I think we're going to maybe work on the title of those for next year, but it's basically 2 nights, but it's really just like one full day in the middle of those 2 nights. So I made it 2 nights just simply because we are far from the city and it's kind of a far way for people to travel. So just they get up there the first evening, we hang out, get to know each other, have a little campfire. And then the next morning, it's a full day of learning. So we talk about like backcountry, so map reading and trip planning, waterproofing gear, proper like attire for the backcountry. We talk about, food prep. And then we talk about canoeing. So we do some on-land stuff, so kind of the theory stuff. And then we teach them how to get the canoes onto their shoulders. We do a short portage. It's about 400 meters to the put-in. Paddle for, a couple kilometers upriver, have a nice lunch on a Crownland campsite, swim, hang out. That's where they have the opportunity to do a solo paddle. And then we paddle back, portage back, and have dinner over the fire. And then they camp one more night. And then the next morning is yoga and nice big hot breakfast. So we provide everything, the canoes and all that gear. They really only have to bring their sleeping gear and a tent, but even we can provide a tent if they need a tent as well. So that was what it started off as. It's like the idea was kind of like more than learning, more than a workshop. It was more of like a retreat almost, like come spend the weekend outside with other like-minded women. I'll feed you. You don't have to worry about food. And like the yoga kind of ties it all up nicely at the end. Stretch out the muscles that maybe people aren't really used to using if they're not, avid paddlers. And so that's what it started off as. And then after I think the first year was done, the following year I tried half-day workshops. So knowing that, it's kind of a big time commitment and a bigger expense to come up to our property for the whole weekend, I wanted to make them a little bit more accessible for just the paddling portion. So if somebody just wants to learn how to canoe, I took just the paddling portion of it and offered it down in the city. So we did a couple days in Port Credit and we just did like 2 back-to-back 4-hour workshops, and then which had a good turnout. And so now we offer the half-day workshops. I have a couple of guides in Peterborough offering half-day workshops, and we do like one in Cambridge, Valens Lake Conservation area.
Conservation,
but the goal the goal is to start offering more. So to have more locations, more guides. We want to offer, that backcountry portion of it that we do here at the overnight workshops. We want to offer that backcountry, like kind of the theory stuff, also as a half day workshop next year in different locations. So like in Peterborough, because we're finding a lot of people are interested in the actual planning of a canoe trip. Like, okay, maybe they understand how to paddle the canoe, but now they want to actually go into the backcountry and what is required to do that. So we're going to try to do more of the theory stuff as a half day workshop. Similarly, like so that they don't have the full weekend commitment and it's a bit more accessible for folks. So that's what it is right now. And then we also collaborate with like guiding companies. So we'll kind of more or less team up with an outfitter. So for the past few years, we worked with Temagami Outfitting Company. And we're just basically like handing off the Paddle Like a Girl like alumni, we call it. So anybody who's done a Paddle Like a Girl workshop, it's kind of like this exclusive trip that you get to be a part of. Take the skills that you learned and now apply it in the actual backcountry. And so it's just kind of a warm transfer, I like to call it, to take away the intimidation of like just signing up for a random guided trip. It's like, this group of people will have the same mentality as you. We want it to be a safe, empowering environment. So we've done Temagami outfitting for the past few years. We plan to do that again next year. But next year, we're also doing one in the Yukon. So we teamed up with Up North Adventures. And so we actually just sold out yesterday. We launched the tickets yesterday at 7 and we filled it up in half an hour, 12 people paddling the Teslin River. So I'm really, really excited. I'm excited for the group of people that signed up. It's going to be a very, it's a once in a lifetime trip for a lot of people. So trips like that are life changing. So I'm very, very excited for them to be a part of that. So yeah, I just hope to continue to kind of grow it and offer people these opportunities to get out and explore different areas and really like, be immersed in nature. So
when you're a whitewater paddler yourself as well, right?
I don't know if I would classify myself as a whitewater paddler. I'm a bow whitewater paddler. So I'm very much like, I just do what I'm told to do in the bow. I've tried to solo little stuff, but no, I'm terrified of whitewater. I'll be honest. Like I said, I'll just do what I'm told in the bow and yeah.
I'm with you. I'm terrified. Although I have a number of friends trying to convince me to do it, but I can't. I'm not a bow paddler. Like I'm a stern guy. That's how that plays. So I think that's as much as anything. That's why I'm terrified, because I know I have to actually know what the heck I'm doing, and
right.
and be shouting things out and where we're going, and so it's like, well, I'm going to be a colossal failure at that.
It's too scary.
That is awesome. How gratifying, how empowering is to like 30 minutes. I just sold out a trip that, it's like, let's go see what happens. And everybody goes, yeah, we're signing up. That's like, how cool is that? Right.
It was so cool. Like, so I work with, her name's Emily. She does a lot of the marketing for Paddle Like a Girl. She's helped me a ton this year. And so we kind of worked on it together, like building up the excitement for it. And so we were both like texting each other all day, like, oh, is it 7:00 yet? And we were kind of, I knew one person for sure was signing up because, she was messaging, I can't wait for 7:00. And so I'm like, for sure we have one person signing up. And then, I have an app that tells me for my website that tells me anytime someone's on the website and what page they're on. And if we get a sale or anything, it'll ding in a certain way. And so Emily and I are both, waiting for these notifications to come in, and just like one after the other, like I think one a minute was coming in up until when we had 8 people signed up at 7:08, and we we're just like, is this really happening? Because I was kind of anticipating, selling a few and then having to really promote it and selling the last few spots. And so we were both like, I feel like crying, like we were just so excited that people really wanted to do this. And because it's a big commitment. It's a lot of money, and and on top of that, they have to pay to fly out to Whitehorse, and what if something happened? What if they get injured next year? Knock on wood. It's non-refundable and stuff like that. So like, it's a risk, but it's something that obviously they wanted to do, and I think that they absolutely should, and that's why we're offering this. And so we were very, very excited and like shocked that it did as well as it did. And so now we're actually trying to see if, were there people who missed out on it? Should we offer another, like a second trip for more people? So we're just kind of right now gauging interest to see if we can fill another trip, if enough people have interest. But yeah, it was amazing. It was a good evening, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Out of curiosity, what's the guide to guest ratio for a massive trip like that?
So with Up North, they do a 6-to-1 ratio. So there's 12 people and then 2 guides.
2 guides. Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're both staring at it. We just got a new fur baby today. And she's got, it's called backward sneezing.
Yeah.
It's where they inhale as a sneeze instead of exhale as a sneeze. So we're watching that happen. Sorry about that. This is a brand new thing for us.
It's exciting though.
She's a rescue, so we're all just getting to know each other.
Yeah.
What kind of dog?
She's a poodle cross something. They said maybe Schnauzer and poodle.
Cool.
She's got gray coloring. She's timid.
Aw.
Okay. So you're a content creator in about 1,000 different sort of slots, for lack of a better term. How the heck do you? A, do you have just a wickedly creative brain, and B, where do you find all the time to do all that? Because doing mum things, doing tripping things, doing like just. How do you squeeze it in? Or are you just a lunatic and you just feel a need to be on the go all the time?
Definitely the latter. I'm a lunatic.
Lunatic, all right.
No, like I was actually today I was like kind of losing my mind a little bit because Jim is I help Jim a lot. My husband does like, his videos, and he started a podcast. You said that your IT is like your kids who are
my kids,
use absolutely. The back. So I'm Jim's IT, but the problem with that is that I also don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just really good at like Googling. So for example, this podcast that he's doing, I had to suddenly become really good at, setting up mics and connecting this to that and editing. And like, I really genuinely have no idea what I'm doing. And he hasn't done a podcast in a long time, but he did one today. And so it was like remembering everything that I had learned 8 months ago from, and so I was kind of, running around like a maniac. And then I'm also trying to edit this video that was supposed to go live last Tuesday, but I was like, it's not getting done. So now we're hoping to have it done Sunday, and I still feel very behind. And then, the Paddle Like a Girl stuff, I'm so excited about it right now that I'm really struggling to focus on anything else. So I'm definitely feeling like I'm being spread very thin, but it's all very fun and exciting. But I'm dropping a lot of balls, a lot. Like the house is a disaster. I think we just have been eating like frozen lasagnas every night. Like, you can only do so much, I suppose.
Well, yeah. There's only so many hours in the day, and I kind of don't care how much energy you have. You're still burning. Like you're going to fall down at some point. I totally get I forgot how to do things. We did 3.5, 3.75 years for the first season where we never stopped. And then we took a almost 3-month hiatus, and we came back to it. It's like, I have no idea what we do. Like it was because it was, it's muscle memory before. Now it's like, what's lights, there's lights, shoot, the microphones. Where did I put them? I have to screw them back on. It's all of that.
Yes,
it's like,
totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, I love the content that you put out. It's amazing. I follow you mostly on Instagram. I follow mostly everybody on Instagram, although I do use YouTube. we have a sneezing dog again.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder what causes that.
I don't know. We're pretty good. Sorry, I was going to say Pamela's pretty good about keeping the place clean. So I don't think it's dust or anything like that. I don't know. Our previous fur baby had a similar issue.
He had lots of allergies, though.
Yeah. He was allergic to everything.
Okay. I think we're done for a moment.
Go ahead.
Well, so tell us about the TV personality thing. I'm curious about what is that?
So in 2020, I don't even know what year it was. Hudson would have been turning 2. Oh my gosh. Was it his first birthday? I forget what year it was. 2022. So in 2022, we had this really cool opportunity. National Geographic reached out to Jim at the beginning of the year, I think it was. They had seen one of our YouTube videos. So we did this cross-country drive with Wesley. It was just Wesley at the time. We didn't have Hudson, but we drove up to the Yukon and did like this winter kind of expedition up there with Wes, and they really enjoyed that video series from YouTube, and so they actually reached out to Jim to see, if they could pitch a show on us and the adventures that we go on. I think specifically because of Wesley's disabilities, they thought it was really inspiring that we were taking him out and still getting out on adventures with him. And so they pitched a show, and then they ended up coming up and filming 4 episodes just as like kind of pilot episodes. And then those aired the following summer. But they were wanting to see what the interest was, like what the numbers looked like. And so didn't get enough viewers. So they didn't renew it or anything. It was at a time when Disney, I guess, just got a new CEO. And then also just everything was like, they were losing a lot of money. And so we weren't really anticipating that we would get renewed, but it was a very interesting experience. So we were kind of like, do we want to do that again? And we were kind of trying to not have any expectations one way or the other, because it was a really cool opportunity. But it was a lot, just the whole filming of it. But yeah, it's called Home in the Wild, and I think it's on Disney Plus still. But it's just 4 episodes, and it's just us like out camping with the kids, and we go to the French River and another lake near here. It's all pretty local.
Cool. Probably not a ton of fun to have a camera in your face all the time, but outside of that, have an excuse and potentially be actually getting paid to go camping, I'd be okay with that part.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What about, so you're out adventuring, you're doing all the things all the time. Do you have any sort of memorable trips? A couple that are just like, yeah, I'm never going to forget that. It was so awesome. Kind of those kind of trips.
Or was such a disaster.
as having talked to a number of people, those are the ones that seem to stick the most. It's like, yeah, if it went perfect, it was like, I remember some nice pictures I had from it. I don't remember the trip. If it was a complete disaster, I remember every second of it.
Yes. Those are like the ones that always make a good story are the ones that go bad, or, the ones that go wrong or something like that. Right. Yeah. I would say, the one trip that really challenged me physically and emotionally was our Rockies backpacking trip. So it actually wasn't a canoe trip. It was actually our hiking trip. So we did, and we're not hikers. That's probably why it was so challenging for us, because we are canoeists and we pack for canoes and not backpacking. But we hiked from Jasper to Grand Cache. So we had to hike through, Jasper, and then we had to hike over the height of land into Wilmore Wilderness, which is just north of Jasper. So it's like a non-operating park, basically. It's a protected area. But that section in between Jasper and Wilmore, not a lot of people really travel through there, because, people usually either stick within Jasper on those trails, or there's the trails in Wilmore. It's much more of a horse packing area. So the trails are very well worn by like horses. So they're like deep ruts and really muddy. But we did 20 kilometers a day for 8 days. So we did 160 kilometers. And, you know, we're also from Ontario, so we're not really used to hiking mountains. And like I said, we didn't really, yeah, we also didn't really pack very light. And so, anyways, it was just like such an empowering trip because, you know, day one, we have to hike 20 something kilometers. And we're like, you know, every 5K, we're like, what are we going to make it? Like, what have we signed ourselves up for? And like, your legs are, you know, you're breaking in your hiking legs. And so, by the time we made it to camp, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to walk tomorrow. Like, I think we just got to hike back out of here. But the next morning, I was like, wow, I feel fine. I feel great. And each day it was just a challenge to like get to camp. But every time you made it to your destination each day, you're just like, we did it. We did it again. Like, this is amazing. It just feels so good to get to camp. And then like, you know, so each day was a victory. And then of course, when you finish the entire trip, it's a victory. But the coolest part about that was, yeah, so we actually discovered, well, I'm talking with this group of horse packers that we saw on, I think it was day 6 that we bumped into them. We were telling them the route that we took, and they explained to us that his grandmother actually lived, so where they originally lived was down in Jasper, and when the parks came in, you know, to make it a park and booted them out, they actually traveled the exact route that we were hiking through Jasper, up through Wilmer Wilderness, and up to Grand Cache. And so it was really cool to get to experience that little piece of local history.
Yeah, that'd be pretty wild. I mean, you're kind of walking through the past, right? That's a cool thing.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And we kind of keep in touch with them actually. And yeah, I think his name is Ken Grout, and I think he wrote a book. I think we have one of his books. But anyways, really, really cool. Just like such authentic people, you know, like to run into them in the middle of nowhere. Was just, I don't know, it was just such an experience. And like everyone was just so friendly, and they fed us warm soup and sent us with, I think, a bottle of gin because we had run out of alcohol at that point. And they were just like so impressed with the amount of gear that we were carrying and how far we were traveling. And they're just like, what the heck are you guys doing? And anyways, yeah, it was just such an experience. The whole thing was really cool.
Cool. Yeah. Well, and you mentioned the amount of gear. I'm ultralight is not, listening to what you're talking about, ultralight's not a word that played into that conversation at all.
No, no. We tried. We really tried, but didn't work.
Oh, I know. My backcountry partner is our eldest son, and we get to camp, and I go, why? How is it every year I can't winnow out? And I do. I swear to God, I pull stuff out of the kit, but I must be adding other things in at the same time or something. Because we get there, it's like, I know I'm getting older, but man, this stuff, I swear, is getting heavier every year. Like, what the? Come on.
Oh, I know.
Views, Jasper, amazing, right? Like what were you staring at your, you know, just one foot in front of the other the whole time? Or are you looking around like drooling out the side of your mouth kind of a deal?
So a little bit of both for sure. It's hard because yeah, you have to look down at your feet so much, and every once in a while you're like, no, I need to look up and take in this incredible view. But yeah, it was, you know, being from Ontario, of course, Ontario is beautiful, but like being in the mountains, you know, and then you're hiking. So you're in like the bush for a lot of it, you know, you're hiking through forest, but then you'll come out to this just like opening, and it'll be this incredible vantage point, and you'll just see the peaks and like the valleys. And yeah, it was just incredible. And we went past the Snake Indian River and the Snake Indian Falls, I think it was called, and just like this blue water. It was just so, it's like you can't even imagine just how beautiful it is unless you're like there taking it all in. So
yeah,
incredible.
I'm sure cameras don't catch the
no, yeah.
Yeah.
They certainly don't.
Yeah. That's it's funny because that's like everybody goes, but my eyes could take it in. My camera's like, I might as well just stick it back in the pack because it's pointless.
Exactly.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Another thing, just as we head towards probably wrapping this up, I know you write, but I don't know formats. Like, do you do magazine articles, like blog posts? Have you actually written a book or anything like that?
So no, I have not written a book.
Yeah.
However, something that I don't know if many people know about me, I like deep within my soul, a goal for that I have in my life is to write a book one day. And I've been
Cool.
thinking about it a lot lately. I don't know if I have anything interesting to write about, but so something that I really enjoyed doing when I was little, and just feel like it's an easier way for me to express my, my thoughts and like whatever. But anyways, I've written articles. So I've written like my biggest article that I've done was, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the magazine. I think is Outside magazine. Anyways, feature article, and it was actually about that Rockies hiking trip. So it was about our Jasper through Wilmore Wilderness hiking trip, and I was on the cover of the magazine, which was really cool, like cool experience, like so weird to see myself there. And but I really really enjoy writing. But no, I'm definitely not like an author. I like that you said author. That really, I was like, oh, that sounds nice. But no, I don't think I would consider myself an author. But I've written a few articles. We'll just say, we'll put it that
Well,
way.
I think it classifies.
That
I
makes
think
you an
it's
author.
still, yeah. I think it's a thing.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Well, on the note of writing things, do you journal or anything like that? Like, is that, or is it just you have a really good memory and you can write all the things down to put in an article
Oh
in the
no,
magazine?
I don't journal and I don't have a good memory. So that's why I say I have no idea what I would write about. It is just a dream of mine. Like I just like, oh, I'd love to try, like we all have dreams, right? But I don't know if it's anything that I would end up doing, and I don't know when I'd find the time. I feel like I need a lot of like quiet time to myself to actually write anything down. But I dream of writing about like just my experience with Wesley, for example, and then, a few different things, but I feels kind of, I've never really admitted this out loud, if I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I don't have a good memory and I don't journal, which is something that I want to do, is journal. I think I've written maybe half a page of a journal once. And but I wrote a lot when I was little. Like I really was into poetry and I really enjoyed writing short stories and stuff, but it's just something that I haven't done in years and years, aside from these articles, which I really enjoyed the opportunity to do that. But yeah.
So you've got a big Yukon trip coming up, and anything else planned as far as adventures?
No, so actually I'm not going on the Yukon trip. Unfortunately, it's just going to be guided by Up North, but no, we don't have anything major planned right now because we're going to take the summer off, and we bought a cottage earlier this year. We've only been able to get up there. Well, I went up once. Jim was able to go up last week just to kind of close it up for the winter. But our plan is to try to go up and spend most of the summer up at that cabin for next year, and just kind of dial it back on the big stuff. Jim might go and do his like a big solo trip, but for me, I think I'm just gonna kind of take it easy and enjoy our cabin, which will be
Hang with the
nice.
kids and stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I mean, speaking as our kids are 20, coming up on 23 and
19.
19. So you can't ever go back and get that time back and hang with them again. So
Yeah.
I yeah, do it. Do it.
Uh-huh.
No. Soak it up.
Yeah.
Soak it up when they're small.
Uh,
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know what? Thank you very much for coming and having a yak with us. And I'm looking forward. You know what? I'm going to try to actually bump into you at the Hamilton Adventure Expo, because
yeah.
I will be there for that. Oh, well,
Yay.
so and what goes in? Like, have you done a bunch of presenting, or what goes into prepping for this?
I haven't done a bunch. I did a couple like years ago with Jim. So Jim and I did it together. So that kind of took a little bit of pressure off for me. I did one recently that I personally don't think I did very well. So I do want to take more time to really make this a good presentation. I'm nervous, but yeah, writing. So like I'll do a bit of writing, which is nice, and then it's gonna be my story, so I don't want it to be too like canned and like reading, but I do want it to flow nicely. So I'll have to start with that and then put together some photos and maybe a couple videos. It's a 30-minute presentation, so it's not super long, which is nice. But I want to, I want to do a good job. And I'm, talking in front of large groups of people is, I think, terrifying for a lot of people. So, last time I felt like I didn't really prepare as much as I should have. So, a few practice runs I think will be good. Present in front of a couple people so that I can get some advice and tips and stuff. But I feel like I have a lot of time to prepare for it, but time is flying. So,
Nope. Yep. So we're yakking with a handful of people about doing a pre or a post get together for the show, and that literally one of my first 3 comments was, okay, but we need to get on it now, because if we don't get on it now, people will be off doing winter camping and poof, the whatever it is, the 2.5 months between now and then are just going to be gone, man. It's good. That's how it's going to work. So.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's going to fly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? At least you've got I was going to say captive. That's the wrong term. The feel for this show is like just having, chats with people and stuff like that. The audience for this show is going to be a bit of a different, way more sort of adventure oriented types, if that makes sense. We're going to have all the people that hang around with at the Toronto Adventure outdoor show, all the people that hang around over by the two stages. You're going to have, but that's going to be the entire audience. They're all going to be that kind of people. So I think, say the word canoe and campfire and, bears, and that will be it. It'll be a win. Everybody will be like, yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. So
right.
Don't sweat it.
Okay.
That's it for us for today. Thank you so much to our special guest, Tori Baird. We really appreciate her time, and given she's such a busy woman. And if you do want to follow her, she's on Instagram. She's on all of the social media, right? Like Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah.
Check our show
YouTube.
notes. I will list
Instagram.
everything.
We'll put all the links in the show notes. And as always, you can reach out to us. We are also on all the things, and you can email us. We are at hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.